Oliver, Azamat, lovely to meet you both.
Hi, James. Nice to meet you.
Hi, thanks for inviting us.
Oh, well, thank you very much for joining me today. Can we start by you telling me a little bit more about where this all began?
Where did it begin?
Where
well,
did it begin?
I guess it began with a breakup and a divorce. So me and Azamat used to be married, and now we're not. And we split up 4 years ago.
Yep.
4 years ago.
Is that why we're sat so far apart on the sofa?
No, Azamat's personal hygiene is why we're sat so far apart on the sofa. So no, we're on very good terms, and we co-parent our 6-year-old daughter, and well, now we run a business together. But yeah, so a little while after our divorce, I pretty much decided I was looking for a career change. So I just sort of started looking for other opportunities. And I came across some other brands that do similar to us. But I think the problem that I noticed straight away is there was no brands that were unapologetically gay. And that's sort of where the idea came from, to try and create something that was unapologetically gay. Would you agree?
Yeah, I guess after COVID and after having our daughter, your priorities change a little bit. And when you come back to corporate world, you kind of see things differently. And sometimes you question, like, what am I doing here? What I'm doing with my life? I think it's not interesting to me anymore. And that's when I started doing some startups as well. So we've done some in parallel with Oliver, but a couple of my ideas I've launched and piloted, and they failed successfully. And then Oliver suggested for me to join Friend of Dorothy. And we've piloted working together for months, and then it kind of worked very well. And then we joined our forces to build a brand together.
And we started off just predominantly with one product, which was our bottom product. And we had to do a lot of research and work with labs and people to develop our formulas. And from there, we just started finding other problems that gay men have. And from that, we just built out the whole product range. And it's been a crazy 2.5 years. Literally, it's been 2.5 years. So yeah, it's exciting stuff.
I'm sure that's gone very quickly for you both in many ways.
I mean, yeah, sure. No, it has. It's flown by. And it feels longer sometimes. But then when you sit down, you're like, wow, 2.5 years from where we started to where we are. It's been an immense ride, and it's growing so quickly. And we're getting to work with amazing creative people within, creators and so on, which is fun. No 2 days are the same.
Tell me more about this first product.
Yeah, so there's a brand very good brand, Pure for Men, that do a product called Pure for Men. And a friend actually recommended it to me. And it turns out it's a supplement that's designed to make douching easier. The problem for me with it was what they were doing. So they're a gay brand, but it's quite hidden. So that's where the idea of taking a very similar formula, I think we improved the formula, and we created a product which is Bottom, which is one of our best sellers. And from there, we came out with Cum Gummies next, which are also an amazing seller.
I'm loving these names, by the way.
They're wild, aren't they?
Unapologetically gay before, and I think you've nailed it.
The names of the product are what they do. So we have a product Hard, and the idea is that it boosts your libido and makes you harder. Bottom, which is for bottoms. Cum Gummies, to make you cum more. So all of our products are designed around 2 ideas. One, to say who it's for. Secondly, to say what it does. But in your face, in your face, especially with Cum Gummies. But yeah, it should be in your face what it is, so that people, they know what it's for. We don't want to hide the fact we're gay. We're not, we're never discreet about it.
And the supplement industry is enormous, right, globally. So you're entering into quite a crowded market, but with a very clear, distinct branding, which I'm absolutely here for. But in terms of research, what do we know about the the supplement industry, the taking of supplements, how effective they actually are?
It is booming, and I think what we observe, if you go to your local pharmacy, you'll see hundreds of brands.
Mm-hmm.
But what we've realized, you can see, I don't know, zinc, collagen, vitamin C, but then you don't know what to do with it, right? So what we were trying to figure out, okay, what are our problems? How supplements can help them. So we put
As gay men, you mean?
yeah. So we're asking ourselves, okay, as a gay man, what would I need? And then we're trying to figure out what supplements can help us, right? And sometimes it's a blend of different vitamins together, but that's exciting part of it. So you come to our labs, experts, and ask them, okay, we are having this issue. What will help us? And then they come up like with a recipe. And then the great thing about it is sometimes it gets very creative with opportunities. For example, they say, oh, you can do it actually in gummy form, and you can select the taste of the gummy. Or the funny story is how Oliver came up with the product Calm. So he asked for a recipe for one thing, but they said, actually, but we have these ingredients like zinc and vitamin C, and it will, but it will increase your semen volume. Right? He was like, "Oh, that's great! I never even thought that could be like a product, and let's make product out of it." So it's very interesting process to create supplements together and to make sure that our customers understand very well what it is and what it is doing. And I think that was our key to success.
Also, the fact it is all targeted around gay men. We try and speak to our audience because other brands are quite happy to target gay men. They want, as they call it, the pink pound. We want to be part of the community. And as a company, that's where we're trying to build ourselves out into a wellness company so that we're genuinely helping gay men live better lives. So I think that's quite important within our mission. Yeah.
The focus is on gay men's health, and it feels like it started to grow from products really to more of a community and a mission. I'm interested to know from your opinions what you feel is actually happening amongst gay men regarding their health, mental, physical health. Do we think that gay men are actually in some ways struggling?
So I think, for me personally, I think apps cause a lot of problems for gay men. Apps like Grindr, and obviously then you've got the likes of Twitter with pornography, etc. So I think these affect gay men predominantly in mental health and how people feel about themselves and how they view themselves and how we view and treat each other. I think out of the gay brands that do what we do, we're one of the few that refuse to just use influencers and models, the six-pack type. You know what I mean? Like with the perfect bodies and so on. We really try and be inclusive and go for all tribes. So first of all, we work with influencers that cover every range because we want everybody to feel part of it. We are in an amazing place as a company that we can reach all the different tribes. And other gay companies could do this as well, but they don't. They center on one type of person. There's lots of companies, especially in the US, and every model they work with, every influencer they work with, they've always got their top off and they've got a six-pack and they look a certain way. And that's not good for people. It's not good for people that don't have that because we should be able to see themselves. If you're a bear, why should they be excluded? Or if you're into puppet play or if you're into leather, it's really important that as a community we come together. So I think that's really where we try and focus our mission on being inclusive in wellness, in making sure that what can we do to make life better for gay people.
I feel like there's obviously a wider message about promoting good health and well-being. And I wonder if you think there are barriers there, especially for gay men, around being able to center health at the heart of their lives, especially if they're, for example, having a lot of sex. Or, I just wonder about particular barriers that gay men might face in keeping themselves healthy.
We were talking about this the other day. So we're in the process of launching the Friend of Dorothy pharmacy. And the idea behind it is not so that we won't just be dealing in supplements. We'll also have things such as Doxypep, Monjaro, ED treatments, hair loss treatments, etc., all for gay men. Because going, in London, these things can be really easily accessible. But outside of London, it can be more difficult, to go to your local doctor, who maybe your family also go to that doctor. You've always used that doctor throughout your whole life, and ask for an ED treatment can be embarrassing. To go to your local pharmacy and ask for it can be embarrassing. So what we want to do is we want to create somewhere where gay men can go and know that they're being serviced by gay men, by people that understand, and take the shame away from it. Like, it's fine to want to get treatment for these things. It's fine to want to have better sex. Our mission as we grow and we open our pharmacy, which we're super excited about, is to make all of these treatments accessible to people all over the UK, and use language and the world, but use languages that speak to them. So just the fact of being a gay man, not having to worry about the packaging it's going to arrive in. As gay men, I think we understand that you want discreet packaging. So we're able to think about these things and really target into it, because, well, sex shouldn't be something that's hidden. Let's be proud about it.
I wonder if there is still a stigma around gay men accessing health services, that because of maybe the language that they use, it's heteronormative. They don't see themselves in any of the space that they're going into.
Yeah, I think it's all about education. I think so many of us still don't know enough. And when we were discussing launching the pharmacy, I think, again, it's all started from us. When you see, like, on Instagram, of friends are doing hair transplants. And I was like, do I have already issues with my hair? Do I need to think about it? Sometimes social media impacts you, raising more insecurities in yourself. And then I was trying to do more research on, what are the products there to prevent hair loss? Maybe I don't need to go that far for hair transplant, but I do want to take care of myself now, right? And then, again, I was doing research and I figured out, okay, this is very complicated. I don't know what brands to trust. I don't know what are the ingredients. Can we create something that is very easy for me to understand, right?
Yeah.
And when we're creating now hair loss products, we have that in mind. Okay, our community, do they trust us? How can we build their trust with all of the research that we're doing to create something easily accessible, easy to understand, online delivery, discreet delivery, and support after, right? So if you're doing the treatment, can you go back to us and ask for an advice? Same with, and then it kind of started snowballing. Okay, hair loss, yes. Second thing, weight loss treatments. So I think all of us heard, like, now in Hollywood, everyone is on Ozempic, and it feels like it's somewhere far away, something not reachable. What is this, right? Can we use it now? Is it available in the UK already? I have no idea. And now we were doing research. Oh, okay, actually, there is another level of drug there, which is Ozempic is GLP-1. There's more advanced level, which is a GLP-2 with Monjaro. And we actually can launch it in our pharmacy as well. And you need to fill in a quick survey, 1-minute survey on our website. And then you can get it. It will be home like in 2 days, and you can start using it and see whether it works. But no one explained that to me, right? And I had to do a lot of research to figure that out. And I think, again, our goal is to educate people that there is your option, and we can do it very fast, and it will be discreet, and it will be affordable. I think one of the taboo topics in our world for any man, I think, is erectile dysfunction. And for example, for me, again, doing research, going to Boots to buy, Viagra or Cialis, I feel very uncomfortable because A, you need to say that word to the pharmacist. B, you need to fill in the form there in front of everyone. And then there is a queue behind you and you always feel embarrassed, right? So can I do it online? I have no idea, right? So again, I'm coming from my own challenges as a gay man, for my age, for my interests. I do my own research, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I solve these problems for me, can it help to my community, right? And that's where we are coming from in terms of launching our pharmacy, and we're super excited about it.
So we're launching all of this within an app. And the idea is that we very much want to create a wellness ecosystem. And in there is amazing. Like we've spent a long time working on this. And we have directories of specialists. So you can go in and you can find fitness coaches, you can find therapists, life coaches, experts to help with HIV treatments. So we want to have a directory in there where wherever you're based, whether it be, because we have a lot of followers and customers in the US and in the UK, wherever you are, you can find people who can help you with any of these problems. So we're putting that in our app. We'll have our pharmacy within the app, our supplement company within the app, and then events. So this is another thing, because all of these things tie into wellness. Being able to find experts, gay experts, that can help you with problems that you have as a gay man can be quite difficult. I know before we got divorced and we were looking for therapists, we really struggled to find one. So as part of what we're building for the community is a whole ecosystem. So people can go in and it will show them experts in their area. So because especially with things like ED, it's quite often not just a medical problem. It can be something more than that. So we have lots of advice and tips in our app, etc., where people can go and access information. We're always working with different experts, again, and all of the advice that they offer is put into the app as well. And then we're excited to soon be launching our events thing. It will geolocate to where you are, and it will show you wellness events. So everything from yoga to cycling, walking, board games, because all of these things, you might think of it, oh, well, what's board games got to do with wellness? Well, actually coming together as a community is really important for people. And when you mentioned earlier about where people struggle at the moment, I think feeling part of the community and meeting other people and loneliness is a big problem for gay men. So we want to use what we have as a company and as a brand to bring together lots of different elements that will help people live better lives.
And it sounds incredibly rich and diverse. You mentioned loneliness. Tell me a bit more about your opinions on what you think's going on there for gay men in particular, if there's a loneliness kind of epidemic, I suppose. What's your view on what's happening there?
I think the base layer of loneliness epidemic is for straight world as well. I understand from my interactions with people, many people are struggling with that. And we can find many reasons for that, including social media again, dating apps, which give you always a thought that there is someone better. But it gets even more complicated when you put gay men on top of that, with our traumas, with our own, like maybe a little bit different lifestyle. We totally see that's like one big topic and one big challenge that we're trying to help with. And we're based in London, and we do see a very big uptake for companies or startups that are trying to create in-person platforms for gay men to meet. People really want to have in-person connections and get out of the apps, because I think most of us are very much tired of them. And we are really trying to support. We're really trying to sponsor. We're really trying to create maybe our own events, to create events directory in our app, Friend of Dorothy app, so that you have an aggregator of all of the events which are related to wellness in one place. So, yeah, we totally see that. But on top of that, we also we have a podcast, and we are trying to invite experts that are helping with the issue of loneliness. We have relationships coach in our podcast, therapists, couple therapists. We are really trying to educate ourselves, but educate our community on how to live a better life. And if you do need help, reach out to our guests from podcasts, for example, to find that help, because there is a lot. We again just don't know where to find this support.
So it's knowing where to go. And I think what I'm hearing you say is the primary focuses are education and connection.
Yeah, awareness, education, connection, and we are really trying to build a platform for that. So it's a one-window shop for gay men. I think it's actually started very interesting with the app. When we were creating an app, we were like, so what do we want from that app? Why would people go to the app compared to just website? And then it's like, okay, can we become like Amazon? Just one window tap for anything you need wellness, where we'll have all the podcasts there, all the products, pharmacy, maybe even shop, store for underwear, right? All the experts directory. So that kind of, then it's never ending, right? So Friend of Dorothy is one tap away for anything you need for wellness, for gay wellness, and to live a better life.
Did either of you imagine quite how big this would get, talking about all of the wealth of community projects you're doing and how you want this one-stop place for gay men to come to be able to educate themselves and connect with people? Did you ever foresee that it would end up here?
I don't think I ever anticipated it would go in the way that it did. Like, we very much set out to have a supplement company. But now I would say what's at the heart of our company, our mission has totally changed. It has become about wellness. And I think that's because as we've sort of started to grow in our own lives and so on, and just mature more, we understand the importance of that. And the struggles that we feel as gay men, we've realized more and more that other gay men are feeling like this. And I think, for me, I love the fact that we're moving into a wellness company. Launching our podcast really changed a lot for us, I think, in our mind frames of how we can help people. If you go back 2.5 years ago, when the early days, I don't think either of us would have thought that we could help people in the way that we do, by making this information available to them. We've just partnered with a trans man in the US, and he's making a series for us on ways that gay men can show up to help the trans community. So we've commissioned this with him, and we started to see the first content going out for that, and it's great. I never anticipated that. I never anticipated that we would have a platform that's going to help other parts of the community. And I love it. That's what I get excited about day in, day out.
And Oliver, if I could go back to a moment ago when you said about the struggles that you're facing as a gay man, sort of at this point in your life, are you able to share what it is you think people might struggle with?
I would say loneliness. I know we've already spoke on it. I know for me, it was a big problem. So I moved back to London 6 months ago. And the reason I moved back is I was living in a small town outside London, and I found it really hard to connect with other gay men. Yeah. Even when I came back to London, I found it difficult because everything is targeted towards either sex or, worse, keeping you online. Yeah. So you've got social media apps, dating apps. They're not there about getting you offline and making friends. They're about keeping you on and selling you that product. And whether that product is the social media platform itself or the dating app, they want you to stay on there. They don't want you going out and so on. And that keeps people lonely. So I know, that was something that I have definitely struggled with. And the solution was, I see it so clearly now. And when I was in the bubble of struggling with that, the solution was to go to in-life events, to go and be around people and force the situation. But it can be really difficult when you're struggling to do that. And I think that was why, that was the reason why we put events into our apps, because there is lots of resources out there for people, But one, they can be hard to find. Two, it can be hard to make the first step to do it, to take the first step to, go and do these things. Whereas if we can create, which is what we want, a platform where all of this is in one place, then if I can help other people not feel lonely, and especially in smaller towns or in big cities like London, that'd be an amazing thing. I already, because we have a more advanced version of our app that's available, but I already go into our app and look for things I can do this weekend because we've got thousands of events already plugged into it. So I'm going in there and I'm like, oh, Sunday, I've got a babysitter for my kids. What can I go off and do? And I genuinely think, anything that gets people offline is great.
It's a great point. I think that, like you say, a lot of the apps do keep you on there, and you kind of find yourself in a position where you're like, well, I'm living my life and seeing my friends and raising children, etc. But I'm not actually going to anywhere I can meet new people. I'm spending time with the people that I know and love. But where am I welcoming in new people? Because if it's not a bar, it's not a club, where is it? So I really take the sentiment there. And I think what you're doing with Friend of Dorothy is going to totally change the entire landscape when it comes to helping men, gay men in particular, not feel so lonely. But Azamat, what about you? What struggles have you identified for yourself? You mentioned one earlier about education and how to get answers to questions. Anything else that you're experiencing yourself?
Well, I'm scared of getting old.
I think we're all in that boat together.
I know, right? So and I'm so happy that in modern world we do have tools to keep you as healthy as possible for as long as possible. I'm 39 this year, and honestly, for the last half a year, I was thinking, okay, I feel I'm getting older. I could feel it. And if before, you still feel like, even when you're 36, you think I'm still 26, But now you could feel like something is changing. And I remember, we're so lucky. I remember when I was a kid and my parents were 36, 37, 38, you were like, oh my God, they are old. They're so old. And now I'm their age. And obviously we are so much more advanced in terms of how all of our generation looks and feels. In terms of we all feel still like we're 26, I hope. But is there anything else that could help us to sustain health, beauty, being wanted, being sexy for as long as we can, right? So I think supplements, I started believing in supplements when I started taking them 5-7 years ago, and they really transformed me in terms of how I feel and with my achievements in fitness, right? But now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what else can I do to extend the energy that I have, that my brain is sharp and focused, and yeah, after supplements, the next stage is, okay, now if we go to medication, is there anything that would help me to sustain and prevent hair loss, right? Is there anything that is there to help and sustain my libido, testosterone levels, so I can feel, alive and stay alive as much as I can? So I think longevity, feeling good about yourselves, taking care of yourself, that's what I personally really look into, and I'm personally trying to solve for myself. And that's how it really, hopefully, it helps our customers as well.
Absolutely. I wonder, both of you, about your views on this. It feels like ethically there's a bit of a line that we walk when it comes to wanting to celebrate a natural part of being human, which is getting older, but also that there are things we can do to help longevity and help preserve certain aspects of our health, and not just let everything disintegrate and, just get into older age and not be able to go, not be able to move around the world, not feeling comfortable and confident in our own skin. But it feels like there is a bit of a balance to be struck between selling someone the sort of idea that they can fight back the years, but also then trying to say, well, look, it's so important that you look after yourself too.
No, 100%. And I think I was trapped before in situations when I had like body dysmorphia and like I had a six pack and I thought it's not enough. I need more. I need to have more muscles, etc. I totally see that. I totally see that. And I think we discussed this before with Oliver. We are not trying to sell you longevity. We're trying to educate you. Yeah. So these are your options. Take it or leave it. But we are testing it on ourselves. Like, okay, this worked for me. I prefer, Manjaro to Ozempic. Like, I think that's what we should actually, offer to our community, educate if that's something for them or not, right? Same with ED treatments, right? There is like Viagra or Cialis. Viagra, I have rush and blocked nose, right? But Cialis actually is more for me because I don't have that. And I didn't know that. But now, because we've launched pharmacy, I've educated myself on this. And do I want to share that? I've learned that to my community, of course. So again, for me, it's all about education. Education, showing that it's available, showing that it's accessible, that it's discreet, and we're here to support you. Yeah.
There's no ultimate hack, but everything you can do that it's the 1%. If taking supplements improves your health just by 1% a year, well, that will start to tally. If exercise, you've got to do, I think it's about taking a balanced approach in everything. And as gay men, we mentioned about bars. I think gay men, we do tend to party till we're a little bit older, and so on. So doing anything you can do to sort of counteract that. Well, we should want to live, but not just live for the sake of it. I think we should try and live and be healthy so that we have a better standard of living. And I think everything, from weight loss. Well, if people can take something, people say it's cheating, taking weight loss things. That's something I've heard a lot online. But actually, I think taking these things, if it helps you live a better life, is great. If taking an ED treatment means you're going to have better sex, go for it. Why should you not? Why should there be stigma around it? Why should people make you feel bad? I think 100%. And vitamins, I take like 6 different vitamins. And if I ever stop taking them, if I go away and forget to take them with me, I notice that after like day 5, the effects when I wake up of not taking them. So, yeah, I think people should be taking care of themselves. It's the 1%. The more 1% you can stack up, very quickly you're at a 10% better standard of living.
Speaking to that, if you were able to give your younger selves some access to things that you didn't have then, if that makes sense, what would you wish was around for your younger self that maybe is around today that you didn't have?
Knowledge. I think being informed it's something that's getting easier and easier to find information. But even now it can be difficult because now there's almost a case of there's too much information out there. So I think, and that's, again, something that we've tried to do in our app is making sure the right information is in one place, that it's not cloudy. And if I could go back 20 years and have access to life coaches, therapy, I'd have loved to go back and have started therapy in my 20s. I wouldn't have ended up married to Azamat. Instead of I had to go
shade being thrown.
Instead, I had to find it after marrying Azamat. I'd have saved myself a fortune on that wedding. But my point is having access to professionals. You go back 20 years, therapy was something that was looked down on. Whereas now we have a platform and we talk about it a lot on our podcast, where we can tell people about therapy and there shouldn't be shame about it. It's a great thing for people to do.
I would agree and build on that. So I think, when we're saying that when we were younger and when we were kids, there were no role models, even the celebrities who are gay, right? Or role models of families who are gay. Or there was no brand that is gay, right? So wellness brand, for example. So I wish there was some kind of one-window shop, where with anything I need, from education on how to douche, right, to therapy, to meeting people, right? And I think that if I had that when I was, I don't know, in my teens,
You wouldn't have married me?
I would marry all of
I think we don't want to get into couples therapy right now.
No, but you'll be more educated. You'll maybe make less mistakes, and you'll live a happier life. So I really wish that, and I really hope that with what we are doing, we are helping younger generations and older generations, like anyone, to live happier life.
Can we talk about the name?
Friend of Dorothy, yes.
Yes, please, because I'd love you to share from your understanding, like the history of that name, and then how it came to be that it was part of your story, that your mission. It became the name of your mission.
It's interesting. I think a lot of younger gay men don't know it, but generally our age all recognize it straight away, or certainly anybody older. So I think it was there's different versions of where it came from, but it was originally by Noel Coward. But ultimately it was a way for gay men to discreetly identify themselves to other gay men. So we met at a cocktail bar. I would be like, hey, are you a friend of Dorothy? Which obviously related back to Judy Garland and The Wizard of Oz. And a friend of Dorothy ultimately meant you were a gay man. And I just love it. I know it from back in, I'm a big theatre buff. So I think that's, I sort of heard it around the theatre land. How did it come up as a name? How do we choose it as a brand name? I actually don't remember.
Was it like a sort of did it just arrive in your mind, but that's it? Or was there a long deliberation?
No. Literally, it just arrived in my mind. I was like, that's it. And everyone, like anyone who knows what it means, just loves it. It's so unique. It's great. And it's a real celebration of our community. I've got 3 kids, and I think I'm prouder of naming my brand than I am any of my kids. I love it. It's a great name.
Well, it's a real reclaiming. It's like the Friend of Dorothy phrase. I think it existed, as you said, Oliver, didn't it? Around, it was covert. It was a whispered code so that gay men could identify one another when it wasn't safe to do so. Society didn't see you. So the fact that it's so out there now, in your mission, it's really reclaiming something that used to be connected to sort of quite dark roots, and now we're using it to celebrate.
Yeah, it's lovely,
which I think is wonderful. With a nudge, because it does make you smile.
Yes,
when you say it, and we're giving the younger generation a bit of a history lesson, of course. But you really have a responsibility with what you're both doing to reclaim so much that was once, clandestine and in the shadow. So in terms of products, let's start breaking it down a little bit, and then we'll go on to how can people get involved. So you've now got a product range of roughly how many?
We just launched our newest product, which takes us up to 12.
Wow.
And we have our pharmacy launching in around 4 weeks' time. And that's going to add another 6 products into the range, but prescription-based products. So we're up to around 20 products in about 6 weeks,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the products, then you've got the podcast. That's available on wherever you get your podcasts and on social media.
On YouTube and all of the places. We use our podcast to educate ourselves. Like, we've learned so much from it. But also to educate other gay men. Because if we're learning, other people within the community, when they hear it, they'll be learning. And we have everything from skin doctors on, relationships, gay matchmaker on the other week. So just, again, stuff that... and the podcast is there about tackling problems that gay men have. That's the thing behind it. And showing, by using experts, showing ways that we can deal with our problems, but in a lighthearted and fun way.
And then the app where everything comes together, that's where you can find access to all of this through the app.
Yeah. We try not to boil the ocean. So we've launched the app, and it's more or less is a store now, like where you can buy our stuff, and it has our podcasts there. So we are still brewing in terms of what would be ideal version, and take it one step at a time, one update at a time. So yeah, the big thing for us now is on our app is to launch properly launch events. So events directory. And yeah, we're also having like quite interesting community page where we are giving 7 tips how to bottom better and things like that, which we find to be actually very helpful. Yeah, we have a lot of ideas. So stay tuned, download our app and you'll see what is there. Hopefully you'll find it helpful.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
So much more growing, and obviously it takes time to settle in and establish these different arms of the business and your mission. But yeah, it sounds like you've both got big plans.
Yeah.
I'm curious as well, what have you learned since embarking on this journey? I mean, sure, it's not all been plain sailing for you.
I would say the biggest thing I've learned is that I can make a difference within the community. I would say all through my life, since I've come out, I never felt part of the community. I just felt I was a gay man. Since launching Friend of Dorothy, I genuinely have learned that, first of all, I can help the community just by showing up and doing little things. And I love that.
When you say show up to help them, do you mean like understand them, be curious about their subculture, their tribe?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in that way, but also in things like language. I mentioned the trans community and being an ally there. Go back 2.5 years, I would have felt, oh, that's not me. I don't need to worry about that. That's not my problem. But actually, it is. And I can help. I know when we first interviewed a trans man on our podcast, we were both scared of saying the wrong thing. But we learned. We've gone away and we learned about using the right language. And we've learned that it's fine if you get it wrong, as long as it's coming from a place of inquisitiveness and kindness. So yeah, obviously to help within our brand and use our brand to help, but also individually. Showing up when you see people being treated badly within our community. Or just showing up as to be supportive for them as an individual.
I agree with everything what Oliver said. It's very educational journey and I learn to learn. What I found extremely exciting is I'm from corporate world, 15 years in banking and strategy consulting. And to do something like this, what we're doing right now, is just, if you told me that 5 years ago that like I'll be doing this, I'll be like, I think it's not real, right? But believe in yourself, have a hunger to learn. I think that's what kind of really excites me about what we are doing. And there is no limit, honestly, with technologies that we have nowadays to build something. Just have a will, just have an idea, just have people who believe in you. Fail, learn, move on, and it's an exciting journey.
And you never know where life's going to take you.
Exactly.
You're both testament to that. 2.5 years ago, you were not in this position.
Yeah.
And how wonderful that you are now.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
It's great. It's cool. We love it. There's never a day where I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work today, or I don't want to do this. It's all good. It's just, it's so nice to feel like we're giving something back, I think.
And if people want to buy your products, if they want to get involved with the events, they just want to check out what you're up to, how do they go about doing it?
You can go to our website, friendofdorothy.com. But the easiest way is just to download our app. Our app's got everything in there. It's easy to navigate. It's a whole community of things. And there'll be more and more getting added in as we go along.
And social media, what's your presence on there?
Social media, we have Instagram, and then we have Twitter, which is don't open in the office. But yeah, so we focus mainly on those two. Obviously, we're on YouTube with our podcast as well.
Excellent. And finally, both of you, maybe if we could use one sentence, how would you summarize or describe what Friend of Dorothy is trying to do for people?
Friend of Dorothy, we're about connectiveness. We want to connect people and get people be nice to each other, coming together as a community. That's really what we're all about. And I think it took us a long time to work that out. I say a long time. It probably took us about a year to work that out. And we've known it for about a year. That's where we're going.
It reminded me when we just started and I was creating our website, and the first thing that you see, I came up with slogan, "Your sexual wellness starts here."
Ooh.
And then as we grew and became wellness company, I think we just changed it to "Your wellness starts here."
There's the evolution.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I guess, yeah, we want to be just one-stop shop wellness company to make gay men happy.
I love that. Oliver, Azamat, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. I've learned a lot myself. Like we never stop learning, right? These conversations always bring around, some insight that I didn't have before we started. And I think it's an incredibly exciting mission. And I love the ethos.